Okay, what you have in front of you, the agenda for today. Thank you. And all day long, I've been having issues with my throat. I don't know why, probably because the room here is so cold. Okay, and we're going to cover today ethics and sexual harassment. Okay, that's the agenda, introduction. I'm going to cover ethics, sexual harassment, the procedures, closing, and any questions you might have at the end. Let me look for the PowerPoint. Okay, and again, today we're going to cover ethics and sexual harassment dealing with school, the workplace. Ethics is the discipline dealing with what is good and bad and with moral duty and obligation. Basically, ethics is all the right things that are expected from teachers in the workplace. All the right things that are expected from the teachers, from parents, co-workers, administration, everybody. Okay. The state of Texas has an educator code of conduct that our district has adopted. Okay. The Texas educator shall comply with standard practices and ethical conduct towards students, professional, colleagues, school officials, parents, and members of the community, and shall safeguard academic freedom. That means anybody the educators come in contact with, we have to follow the code of ethics. The Texas educator, in maintaining the dignity of the profession, shall respect and obey the law, demonstrate personal integrity, and exemplify honesty and good moral character. That means we're not going to be breaking the law. We're going to be basically the perfect citizens. Okay, the Texas educator, in exemplifying ethical relations with colleagues, shall extend just and equitable treatment. And this is from the Rio Grande City CISD Employee Handbook. And that means we're going to not only be follow the code of ethics for everybody on parents, students, and other people on campus, but also co-workers. These are the professional standards. These are kind of like the rules that we have for our students. I'm not going to go over all of them. There's 14 professional standards. I'm going to go over some. 1.5, the educator shall neither accept nor offer gratuities, gifts, or favors that impair professional judgment or obtain special advantage. This standard shall not restrict the acceptance of gifts or tokens offered and accepted openly from students, parents of students, or other persons or organizations in recognition of appreciation of service. In other words, bribery. We compete in the fair every year. Now imagine if a parent came up to me or a student and said, "Can I give you money so I can compete and not go through the process of the teacher choosing which artwork?" That would be bribery. You've seen in the news somewhere in the valley, an assistant superintendent was able to get bribes in order to buy laptops from a vendor, and then eventually the laptops and devices didn't work. Okay, some of the other ones. The educator should not falsify records or direct or coerce others to do so. And means I can't lie about anything. Okay, 110, the educator shall be of good moral character and be worthy to instruct or supervise the youth of the state. It goes back to our campus vision and mission. We need to provide the best example so our students can follow our example. If I break the law, what example is that going to be giving to the students? Okay, let me see the other ones. Some of the other ones are basically breaking the law if you do. The educator shall refrain from illegal use or distribution of a controlled substance and or abuse of prescription drugs and toxic inhalants. The educator shall not be under the influence of alcohol or consume alcoholic beverages on school property or school activities when students are present. Okay, this is the ethical conduct towards our coworkers, other professional colleagues. Okay, and again, I'm not going to a couple of them statements about a colleague or the school system that basically is gossip. Gossip hurts everybody, and everybody's seen it. It starts like a little rumor and it spreads, and nobody likes being the one that they're gossiping about. Okay, 2.5, the educator shall not discriminate against or coerce a colleague on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, age, gender, disability, family status, or sexual orientation. Discrimination. I can't discriminate against my coworkers based on all those things. And 2.7, the educator shall not retaliate against any individual who has filed a complaint with the SPyq, that's the State Board of Education, or provide information for a disciplinary investigation or proceeding under this chapter. That means if somebody complains about me, I can't get even with that person. I can't threaten or retaliate against them. Again, it goes back to ethics. If we're going to be the example for the students, we need to follow the ethical code of conduct. These are the ethical conduct towards students. This is what expected from anybody working in the school, teachers, librarians, administrators. And again, I'm not going to cover all of them, just a couple. 3.1, the educator shall not reveal confidential information concerning students unless disclosure serves lawful professional purpose or is required by law. That means I can't share important information about you guys, personal records, unless it serves for educational purposes. 3.2, the educator should not intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly treat a student or minor in a manner that adversely affects or endangers the learning, physical health, mental, or safety of the student. You can't abuse the students. And 3.4 is, again, discrimination. We can't discriminate against students based on religion, sexual orientation, national origin, disabilities, gender, race, color. Okay. 3.6, the educator should not solicit or engage in sexual conduct or a romantic relationship with a student or minor. And the last one, 3.9, has to do with communication with the students. In a little bit, I'm going to go over the next part, and I know we're running out of time. We have 4 more minutes, but please hang on with me, okay? Okay. If I do communicate with the students, or as educators, if we do communicate with the students, these are the rules or things we have to follow. We have to, the nature, the purpose, timing, and amount of the communication. What we're communicating about, it has to be school related, where the communication was made openly or the educator attempted to conceal the communication, where the communication could be reasonably interpreted as soliciting sexual contact or a romantic relationship, whether the communication was sexually explicit, and whether the communication involved discussion of the physical or sexual attractiveness or sexual history, activities, preferences, or fantasies of either the educator or the student. Okay, and then it goes into sexual harassment, and this is from the district. We do not allow employees to engage in sexual harassment of other employees, students, parents, patrons, or vendors of the school. No district employee is permitted to have a sexual or romantic relationship with a student, regardless whether the student or parent welcomes or approves of the relationship. Sexual harassment is unwelcome. And this is the definition. It can be unwelcome advances, requests for sexual favors, or touching of a sexual nature. Okay, and there's two types of sexual harassment. There's a quid pro quo, which means a favor for a favor. That could be, for example, a professor asking the student for a favor in for a grade. Sexual harassment can occur whether harasser is female or male. It can be from your supervisor, employer, or other coworker. And the harasser's conduct must be unwelcome. That's the one I spoke about, the quid pro quo. And the other one is called the hostile work environment. This one is a little bit harder to prove, but it's basically anytime they make you feel through sexual harassment that's so severe that it alters the way you're working or education. Those are some of the things about sexual harassment. Hang on with me, I know it's one more minute. Okay, as educators, we can have relationships with the students. Those are the guidelines from our district. If they do get reported, the superintendent has to follow some guidelines, some rules before they take action. Consequences include losing your certification, losing your job, and possibly ending up in jail. Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you. Let me stop recording.